guys, welcome back to another client tutorial. Today I just wanted to do something that would really complement her eye color because she has beautiful eyes and just make them pop. So I'm starting with her brows and I'm using this shade Auburn from the Anastasia Pro Brow Palette. I'm just following the natural shape of her brows and then I fill in the tail a lot darker and then just feather through some hair-like strokes through the front. So now I'm just going to carve out her brows with some concealer. I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape. This one's just really good because it's thick and creamy and has really good coverage. So this is what you want to do if you want to get your brows looking nice and sharp. And then I just like to blend it down a little bit so that it all blends later. So now I'm just going to prime her lids with that same concealer. So first I just place it on her eyelids with the concealer brush that I used before and then blend it out with a beauty blender and set it all with a translucent powder. So I'm using a few different brands today for eyeshadows. I'm starting with the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette and I'm taking that shade Puree. This is a really lovely warm brown shade, so it's perfect for in the crease. So I'm placing it there with a big fluffy brush and just blending and blending and blending. This is our transition color and I can't stress how important it is to have a transition shade. So I wanted to bring some cranberry reddish tones to this eye look. So I'm using this color by Makeup Geek, it's called Bitten, and I'm just placing that in the crease with a slightly smaller fluffy brush. And I'm just placing that on the outer corner and making sure it's really nice and blended. I am dragging it into the inner corner a bit and I'm not really being too precise because I am going to go and cover the lid later on anyway. So now I'm taking this shade called Charmed I'm Sure and I'm just placing it on the outer corner as well. And so even though I'm going to go and cover the lid with a different eyeshadow soon, this is just ensuring that when I do, the outer corner will always remain the darkest, and that's kind of what I'm going for. So yeah, now for the lid I'm taking this shade by Colourpop, it's called Drift. And I love this shade by itself, but this is kind of just a base. I wanted to have that cranberry look, but also I wanted it to be a little bit more bronzy. So after I put this down, I'm going to go and put another shade down called On the Rocks from Colourpop. And I'm not taking either of them too high, I'm just kind of keeping them just on the lid, and then I will go back with a fluffy brush and make sure that everything is blended, all of those transition shades are blended in with the lid shades. So after I gave her lashes a coat of mascara, I decided that I wanted to go and do some liner. So you can totally go and do a wing if you want to. I didn't want to do a wing though. I didn't want to really take away from just this smokiness that we have going on. So I thought I would just do a nice thin black line with the NYX liquid liner, and this just helps to blend with falsies. So yeah, and then I also applied the falsies off camera and I used Dodo lashes in the style 307 I think. But anyway, I will have it all linked down below. Moving on to face, I'm using the Becca Backlight Priming Filter to prime. This is just going to give her a nice luminous glow beneath her foundation, and also she said she was more on the dry side, so yeah. So I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way foundation in the shade Light Beige. And for today's look, I wanted to go for flawless, but I still wanted to see her skin. So I basically just did one layer of that foundation all over and buffed it out with a damp beauty blender. Michaela already has such beautiful skin, so I didn't want to go too heavy on the foundation. So yeah, using a beauty blender also just helped to share out that product and give us that look that we were going for. With the brow area, I don't like to get too close with the beauty blender or a brush because I don't want to get any of that foundation into the brows. So I take some of that foundation on a concealer brush and just clean up around the top. Now it's time to highlight and conceal, so I'm taking some of that Tarte Shape Tape and I'm just placing that on the high points of her face and just underneath her eyes, and then I'm also going to do a little bit of cream bronzing. So first with the damp beauty blender, I'm just going to blend all of that highlight out and then go in and blend the bronzer out. And now I'm just switching to a brush so that I can get nice and close up to her lash line. So with the cream contour, because it's been sitting there a little bit longer, it has dried a little bit. So I really get in there and just kind of pounce it into the skin. And it just gave her a really nice natural kind of bronzy look. And then I'm just going to go and set her under eye area and just the highlighted area with that translucent powder, which is the Mercier one. And then on a fluffy brush, I just go and set the rest of her face. For her under eyes, I just did one at a time, so I'm first taking that puree on a flat definer brush, and then every time I just go back in with either a pencil brush or a more fluffy brush and just blend everything. So then I went in with Bitten and then also the last shade, which was Charmed, I'm Sure, and that just helped to smoke out the lower lash line and connect the top to the bottom. And then of course I'm just giving her lower lashes a coat of mascara as well. Now to finish off the face, I'm just taking these two shades from the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and I'm just going to start working on her cheekbones, and I will also place a bit of this on the top of her forehead. There's no nose contouring needed today because as you can see her nose is already snatched. I'm using the MAC Give Me Sun Mineralized Skin Finish today for bronzer, and this is just going to give us that beautiful, warm, bronzy summer look. I'm using MAC Melba Blush and just placing that on the apples of her cheeks. For highlight, I'm using the BH Cosmetics Spotlight Highlight Palette, and I'm taking that shade Glow, and I'm first putting this on the high points of her face, And this palette is seriously so pretty. I'm so in love with this palette, and the camera does not even pick up how intense it is, but it's also so affordable, so I can highly recommend it. And then I'm also going to put a little bit in the inner corners of her eyes and under the brow bone to highlight. I'm setting her brows with some clear brow gel, and then I'm going to set the rest of her face with some MAC Fix Plus. I'm using MAC Myth lipstick for a nice nude lip, and I use a brush around the edges just to be a bit more precise, and then I also went ahead and topped her lips with gloss. So this is the completed look. I love how this turned out. I also really just enjoy filming client tutorials, so I will definitely do more. Please like this video, leave me a comment, and I'll see you in my next tutorial.